man, he got some good news for you. Hey, man, listen. Hey, everybody, gather near. The doctor's in the house, so lend him your ear. The things he could say might even make your day. He might even help your pain go away. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. The doctor is in the house.
Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor's in the house. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Ron, host of Dr. Ron, Unfiltered, Uncensored. Now in episode 485 over the last 5.5 years. So welcome, everybody. And today our topic will be anti-aging, part 2 of many, many parts to come. And as you know, and as the new listeners may not know, I aim on this podcast to give you healthcare options. I will try and tell you the real effects of drugs, the effect of the big pharmaceutical companies on medical care. This podcast is aimed to be a self-help podcast so I can help you make educated medical decisions for your health. And also to help you know that you always have options. And we will continue to broadcast the latest medical and complementary medical news. And on our live broadcast, we will also be open to call-ins. So with an attitude of gratitude, I welcome you and thank you for tuning in. And before we get started, though, just have to tell you a couple instances of medical care today. And I'm looking forward to people accepting energy medicine, frequency medicine. As Einstein said, the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. That's energy. A friend of mine told me he went to an orthopedic surgeon and had a great exam. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, he sent me for an x-ray even before he saw me. He sent me for an MRI. Now he's going to tell me the results of it. I said, well, why did you go to him? He said, well, I have a nerve pain. I said, what happened during the physical examination? He said, well, what do you mean? I said, did he take your pants off? Did he check your reflexes? Did he check sensory examination? Did he check range of motion? He said, no, he didn't do that. He just ordered tests. He's a good guy. And he probably knows he's going to have to refer me to somebody. That's how good he is. Ladies and gentlemen, pack up your stuff and get out of that office. As Dr. Smith said, if you go into an office and the plants are dying, leave. If you go into an office and you're ordered x-rays before the physician even sees you, how does he know what to order? And you know what? Nerves don't show up on MRIs. Muscles show up, but you can't tell if they're shortened or not. Does a limp, unless you're doing leg lengths, doesn't show up on an MRI. You should only order the testing to confirm or to look for specific conditions that you find during your physical examination. Really frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. This profession of ours is going downhill faster than I ever thought it would be, and that's why doctors are the third leading cause of death in the United States. And if you put in drug side effects and pharmaceuticals, it's number one, more than cancer and heart disease. So please be careful. Please stay informed. Be the CEO of your own body and know that you do have options and you don't have to stay with the one physician. On the anti-aging front, your destiny is not controlled by your DNA. It's controlled by your diet, by lifestyle changes. And that's why we have been telling you to eat a nutrient-dense, low-processed diet. Not ultra-processed foods, as we've been talking about. We've been telling you to lower your intake of things like sugar and processed meats and chemically sprayed crops, refined grain products, alcohol, and packaged snacks. As I said, a study last year found ultra-processed foods jump from 53% of all calories consumed by the typical American way up to 57%, while fresh food calories plunged from 32.7% to 27.4% of calories consumed. So our diet and lifestyle are really the determinants of how we live. So let's start out by talking a little bit about resveratrol and how it can help our anti-aging journey. Because resveratrol has the potential to bring your longevity and protection against brain diseases into being. And there's not any downside that I can see. And this resveratrol is present in grape skins, in berries, and peanuts, and it's present in red wine. And it is anti-inflammatory. It is neuroprotective. And it has anti-aging properties. It can protect against age-related diseases like cardiovascular disease, cancer, arthritis, cataracts, osteoporosis, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, pulmonary disease, atherosclerosis, and Alzheimer's. It influences multiple inflammatory and non-inflammatory responses. That's why it has been used as part of the protocol for the C19 virus. Interesting supplement, ladies and gentlemen. It is involved in a lot of different pathways and a lot of different biomarkers. And there actually have been human studies in postmenopausal women, for example. It had positive, powerful anti-aging and health effects. It helped with insulin sensitivity. It can even influence how the mitochondria work and getting rid of dead cells so the mitochondria can be more effective. And remember, the mitochondria are the energy organelles of our cells. And there's many more of them than we have cells in our body. So as we talk about aging in the coming episodes, there's a word called autophagy, and that means self-eating. And it refers to the detoxing of parts of our cells without damaging the tissues around them. And there's a second word called apoptosis, which means falling away, or what is called programmed cell death. We need to have the old cells die and get out of our system. That's what apoptosis does. It cleans these cells out, makes way for the new cells. Apoptosis disposes of precancerous cells, infected cells, and cells that may have growth abnormalities. And guess what? Resveratrol has beneficial effects as a therapy for getting rid of these type of cells. And it is thought because of its effects on autophagy, and apoptosis. It can be a therapy for neurodegenerative disorders. So, if you want to give it a try and put it in part of your supplement program, I don't see why any downside. So, in summary, resveratrol is a natural compound. It may boost your brain health and help you look younger, live longer, and function at a higher level as you age. And isn't that what we want to do? We want to increase our health span, not just our age. Our health span is really important. While we're at it, let's just review some of the substances that people are obsessed with. Remember, the best anti-aging substances, this is not a complete list, but are melatonin. It has anti-stress properties. It has anti-aging benefits. Curcumin has anti-aging effects because it's an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. Remember our shows on inflammaging. Inflammation is the base cause of most chronic diseases, and it will age you very rapidly. And curcumin may also lower your risk for cognitive disorders. And you know about my love of coffee because it's been demonstrated to have antioxidant effects and can protect against age-related cognitive diseases. And when I say that, I'm meaning Alzheimer's and dementia. Grapeseed extract is known for its high concentration of polyphenols like resveratrol because it can protect us against, like, it's called oxidative stress. It's like getting rusty, and it can help with cholesterol. Probiotics. I remember my saying, you have to have a superior interior. Probiotics keep that microbiome in our intestines working properly and being diversified. They also help with the acid-base balance of our skin and improve how we age. And many degenerative diseases are related to imbalances in this microbiome of our gut. So that's what we should be doing. What we should not be doing is using artificial sweeteners. Get rid of the diet soda. Cut down on the sugar. Watch for aluminum, because aluminum, again, has been associated with neurodegeneration. I'm talking about Alzheimer's and dementia. The ultra-processed foods contain trans fatty acids. These trans fatty acids are associated with Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. Tobacco and alcohol products have been linked to premature aging. So they're the substances we want to get rid of. And I've been looking at how many products have so many ingredients in them that you cannot even pronounce them. And you just sort of want to just go over them when you're looking at the list of ingredients. So Brian Vasily, when talking about anti-aging, he says if there's one ingredient you should always watch out for in common household products, it is fragrance. Sounds nice. Sounds like you should be smelling fresh flowers. But the many fragrances that we breathe in from manufactured products are synthetic. They're created in a lab from a mixture of chemicals. And they fall into the category he calls, how do you pronounce that? The effects of these synthetic fragrances are toxic. So we must read the labels. Okay, really important. So we have to look for that word fragrance on the ingredient list. And it may not be called fragrance. Sometimes it's called scent. Or the really famous word, perfume. And fragrance doesn't sound harmful, does it? But it is a trap that we all fall into. Because a lot of companies don't want to know what really in their products. According to the Environmental Working Group, EWG.org, the average product containing the word fragrance has about 14 additional chemical ingredients not listed on the label. So you have no idea what's in it, just the word fragrance. There are over 3,000 possible chemicals that could be in a fragrance cocktail. And yes, you guessed it, they do come from petroleum as a base. Okay? The old Rockefeller. And they don't have to be disclosed to you because there are trade secrets. So your perfumes and your colognes, you can check them out on EWG. They'll tell you what's really in them. Cosmetics. There are numerous toxins in cosmetic products. And fragrance shows up in scented lip gloss, scented nail polish. You guessed it. Think how often you put on makeup and it stays on your skin all day long. Your exposure time to these toxic chemicals really add up. Remember, the largest organ of your body is your skin. Personal care products. One report from 2011 now it's 2023, but from 2011 found that more than 95% of shampoos, conditioners, and hair styling products contain fragrance. And they did not count soap, lotions, deodorants, sunscreens. Candles and air fresheners. Sounds great, right? Bring the outdoors indoors. But they contain toxic fragrances in your house. And none of the toxic chemicals will be listed on the label. Cleaners and laundry products. We've done programs on that. Detergent, fabric softeners, dryer sheets. They can cause problems both inside and outside your home because, why? Because they're using a dryer and the dryers are vented to the outdoors. And always remember what you put on your skin because it is the largest organ of your body. And these scented products can cause allergies. And if you have sensitive skin, it's not good news for you. Contact dermatitis is one of the most common symptoms of a fragrance product. And what happens when it gets absorbed into your skin? Well, your body is, in its infinite wisdom, will start to detoxify it, but you're putting another burden on your immune system. And as we've talked about, a lot of these chemicals are endocrine disruptors. What does that mean? It means they can alter your hormones, like the BPA, which are high in estrogen, the phthalates. And if you breathe them into your lungs, either through indoor or outdoor pollution, these volatile organic compounds can be toxic to your lungs. You may not even think about your lungs, when you're smelling a perfume or a cleaning chemical, but they are easily inhaled and can do lung damage or lung irritation. Just being exposed to cologne, some people got asthma attacks in one study. So they are damaging to the environment. The phthalates, you've heard of them, they're linked to major issues, especially with hormones and reproductive toxicity. Do you ever hear of musk? Yeah, musk is a popular scent, but the synthetic forms are horrible for your health and they accumulate in your environment. And they are endocrine disruptors, toxic to your brain and lungs. So if you want to have a longer health span, doesn't it make sense to avoid these products that have fragrance in their list of ingredients? Styrene can be toxic to your lungs. Formaldehyde is a human carcinogen. And the list goes on and on and on. Why are they allowed? Well, because it's a highly unregulated industry. The US FDA has placed very few restrictions on these chemicals that are, in our opinion, considered harmful and banned in other countries. In fact, according to Vasley, cosmetic ingredients are not required to be free of harmful effects before going on the market. Isn't that something? So we have to have better choices and we have to look for better products. So we get old. Why do we get old? Well, we've talked about it because our telomeres get shortened, and these toxic, in this chemical and toxic environment really helps those telomeres get shorter. So this fountain of youth is really within our grasp by using the healing frequencies. And we'll talk next week more about 528 and 369. But we're going to continually look for this fountain of youth. And the end result would be that what we do will keep our telomeres from shrinking. As I said, size matters in telomeres. Anti-aging medicine is not about stretching out those last years of life. It's about stretching out the middle years of your life. And those last years of our life, we want to compress them so that diseases of aging happen very, very, very late in life, just before we die. And that is a saying by Dr. Klatz, K-L-A-T-Z. That makes sense, right? We want to keep those telomeres longer and use all our life up in the middle. And when it comes time for us to die, we get a few things and the candle blows out. And we will talk about, as we talk about the frequencies like 528, we'll talk about telomeres and chromosomes and how they really are antenna and how they communicate with each other by light and frequencies. We'll talk about telomerase. It's an enzyme and it can arrest or sometimes reverse the shortening process of the telomeres. So there's a lot of potential there for improvement. We still don't know exactly why telomeres stay long in some instances and get, well, we know they get shorter when we're under a stress and eating a poor diet and having a lot of toxic chemicals in our environment, but we're not always sure why they stay longer. And you know how we're going to find out? Because cancer cells seem to have lived forever. So the research is being done now on cancer cells. They're almost immortal. And you know how they stay immortal? They inhibit the enzymes that causes the telomeres to shorten. Isn't that crazy? That's where the answer is going to come from. So there are benefits to music, ladies and gentlemen. And we can take advantage of that right now on YouTube. Just look up YouTube 369, which is the manifesting frequency of Nikola Tesla. See how you feel when you listen to that. The original musical scale was 9 notes. The first 6 are the solfeggio frequencies. Each frequency has a reason. You can just search for that on YouTube and listen to some of them. See which ones make you feel better. Because these frequencies and music can boost your mood, lower your stress, improve your memory, helps people with depression, can make you maybe even more creative. Because we already know that it's good for your heart health because music can lower your blood pressure and heart rate, depending on what you're listening to. Not the rap music, but Baroque music and standard type music. One study found that music therapy reduced stress and lowered heart rate in patients recovering from a heart attack. So, when we talk about frequencies, we have to talk about music because music is a frequency. And we know that you can sleep better. And we've talked about sleep is so critical for our life, right? Because that's when we detoxify. So there's a lot of interest in frequency. Myself and Dr. Jerry Smith are having podcasts on frequencies all the time. I just did one with him last week on Roku television that I'll give you a link to next week. It should be up. We want to get the word out because the medicine of the future is here. And Einstein's vision of medicine 120 years ago is here now. It's just that the mainstream medicine is not about frequencies. It's about biochemistry and the mantra of a pill for every ill. So we have to talk more about bioelectric rather than biochemistry, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, that's just what I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk next week more about frequencies and anti-aging and how to lengthen our health span. If you go to docronradio@gmail.com, I welcome any suggestions you have for future podcasts. And I hope you all have a great week coming up. And this podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, LinkedIn. So give it a shot. Have a great time. We'll see you next.
Hey everybody, Dr. Ron's finished for today. I hope you got some good wisdom for what the man had to say. If it's all about good health, he's the man you got to see. He has a lot more answers for you. So tune in next week when the doctor is in the house. Or when the doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. I'm sure he can tell you just what to do. The doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. So if you have a pain, call the doctor. If you have a strain, call the doctor. Let the doctor know what's bothering you. When the doctor is in the house. The doctor is in the house. See you next week.